Greetings, metalheads. Welcome to the Friday 13th YouTube channel. Today, you're going to be watching an interview with Chris from the band Gravedigger. Now, Gravedigger are going to be releasing their new album in 2025. It's going to be called The Bone Collector, which is an absolute fantastic album, taking you back to the old school roots of Gravedigger. So, I want to thank Chris for doing this interview. I also want to thank Mona for setting up this interview. So, folks, thanks for supporting me through 2024. Have a fantastic rocking Christmas, and I'll see you in the new year. Thanks for watching. So we're talking to Chris from Gravedigger. Welcome to Friday 13th again, Chris. I hope you're having a nice day. So I'm going to ask you some warm-up questions first. My first
Yeah.
question is, as a singer, who's inspired you? Which vocalist inspired you?
Mr. Rob Halford, Ronnie James Dio, and one of my biggest idols. It's really funny. It's David Lee Roth.
Why David Lee Roth?
I always like he approach as an entertainer, yeah, because I saw them live the very first time in 1980 when they played as a support band for Black Sabbath here in Germany, and they blew Sabbath from the stage. It was really amazing, and yeah, I was totally addicted because he was always drunken. David Lee Roth. I think he can't sing so good live, but anyway, he was the biggest entertainer I ever seen on my fucking life. So uh, I adore him. Nowadays, it's a bit funny. He looks like a grandpa starting living on his own dream. But anyway, Rob Halford, Ronnie James Dio, also Ozzy are my idols.
Okay, then great. So from those albums like Ozzy, Sabbath, and Priest, and etc., Dio, which ones are your favourites for those artists?
I like the Black Sabbath self-titled album and the Last in Line album, also the Holy Diver. And from Priest, I love everything. The first album I got was Unleashed in the East, and that was a killer, man. So
As they
I
say,
also
unleashed in the studio, don't they? That's what they always
yeah,
say about.
Unleashed in the studio, yeah, for sure. But anyway, at this time when I was a young guy, I never thought about that is re-recorded in the studio. For me, it was a live album, and I like it much, really.
Okay, then. So, as a singer, like who inspired? I mean, obviously, was anybody in your family that were vocalists or guitarists, drummers, or anything?
Guitarist is look behind me.
Yeah,
Uh, you see Eddie, so
yeah,
he's the best. I also love Richie Blackmore
yeah.
because he has a really signature sound, and also Jimmy Page. As you know, as you hear in my notice in my idols are also from the 70s, from the 80s. So I'm an old guy. Addicted to old heavy metal hard rock. So
Right then. So, was anybody in your family guitarists, singers?
yeah, my son.
Okay,
Yeah, he is an amazing guitar player. He's 18 years old now, and he has a great tone, a great feeling. He's also playing a lot of classic rock. He loves Frank Zappa, Doors, Deep Purple, and yeah, he's a great guy. He always
okay.
also sing very good. And for the first time in next year, we will celebrate the 45th anniversary, and then he will join me on stage at the Wacken Open Air next
Wow,
year.
awesome.
Uh, yeah, and also on the club tour here in January, February, he will sing with me Rebellion. So yeah,
What
family
what?
comes together also on stage.
So, what does he think of your music? Does he like your band, your son?
Pardon?
Does your son like your music? Gravedigger's
Yes,
music.
when I went down here at my house, I listened to him when he play guitar. He play "Here I Stand" from the Witch Hunter album and Morgan Le Fay, Excalibur, and but I also asked him if you are interested to replace me someday at Gravedigger. But that is nothing he has in mind. So he told me, okay, in 10 years, Dad, I will be a rock star. I will buy you a house, a bigger house, and for my mom, I will buy a swimming pool. So I think he has a great dream. I hope he will follow that.
I don't think Gravedigger can carry on without you, Chris. You are Gravedigger. So I'm
Yeah,
going to ask you.
my son has a good voice, but his voice is a bit different to mine. So let's see.
Right, okay, and so from the first three albums, which are the cult classics, you got Heavy Metal Breakdown, Witch Hunter, and War Games. Which is your favorite? Which one would you say is your cult classic?
I think that the classic is Heavy Metal Breakdown. Because as I told people in previous interviews, the songwriting was different. We bought bottle cans of beer and smoking weed in the rehearsal room, and then somebody came up with a guitar riff and like a da 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 da, you know. And we say, hey, yeah, that's cool, man, a good guitar riff, and start singing to that, and a heavy metal breakdown, yes, that it is. So everything was really simple, uncomplicated. We were stoned like hell, but great songwriters. And this is a evolution of heavy metal breakdowns. And when we recorded it in the studio, it was nearly the same. A lot of beer, because we recorded that in Berlin with Harris Jones.
Yeah.
And we are all lived in West Germany. We have to drive through East Germany. And at the truck stop, they sold really cheap beer for 10 German cents, and this was nothing for our currency here. So we packed all the gear into the van, and then beer, beer, beer in East Germany. And after the studio, all the beer was empty. We got a production and driving back home, not for Christmas, but at the way back, we bought again on the truck stop in East Germany a lot of beer, beer, beer for the rehearsal room. That was funny times, yes.
Well, it's a very savage raw album. My favorite album is War Games. I don't know why,
Mhm.
but for some reason, I like War Games. That seems to be my cult classic album for you
Yeah,
guys.
it sounds a bit more professional. The work on War Games was a bit more professional. We started for the first time with some background vocals. It was a guy from Zeno. I don't know if you
Yeah, I know
know.
those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and Michael Flexick, and he did some awesome background vocals, high pitched vocals also. So that was the first time.
Right. I know you're very much influenced by Celtic, Scottish culture, history. Is that something that's really still part of your life? Because last time we did an interview, you're very much into the Celtic, Scottish thing. Is that something you're still into?
Yeah, I was. Now I'm stopped with that because after three albums, I think we told everything about the Scottish history. It's an interesting Scottish history, which fits very well to heavy metal. But anyway, it's a great land, great country. I love the nature there, and I love the people also. And I have the plan that I get into the next 2 years. I will visit Scotland again. To Formerly, the last time when I was there, I was more or less at the at the eastern part of Scotland and in the north.
Yeah.
And I want to go to the west side because the original release party for Tunes of War was on Dunvegan Castle, that is in the northwest of Scotland. And it was also an amazing landscape there.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to ask you now. Axel left the band. What was the reason for him leaving the band?
There are different reasons. The first
Right.
reason is I felt that the creativity is at the end. The second was that I was not really satisfied how he played after all these years the old songs, like an Excalibur solo or something like that. So at the end, I felt that the time has come and that we have to start a new era of Gravedigger. And yes, that was the reason that he was fired from the band.
Okay. Then so you got Tobias from Orden Morgan on guitar now. Who else did you audition for the band for new guitarist?
No auditions.
No. Okay.
No, we never did any auditions. I think we did it in the past when I stopped playing bass and we got this the René Thibonnet on Witch Hunter. We throw him out. We fired him from the band during the recordings in Berlin, and then we made the audition, a small audition, and then we got C.F. Brank, the bass player. But anyway, we never more made an audition for Uwe Lullis or for Money or also for Axel. So I made this Steelhammer project with Toby together. And when Axel left the band, we agreed that he joined the band. That was very simple.
Okay. The Steelhammer thing, was that a success for you?
It was a small success, so, something like that. Not like Gravedigger. and it was fun to make it. And through this time, I saw the quality of the guitar player, you know. And Toby is really completely old school. He loved all these old school bands like Tokyo Blade, also Running Wild. He's a big Running Wild fan, and he has this approach of playing this old time classics from the 80s. And I think if you listen to the new record, you there is some kind of vibe, spirit of the 80s, and I think that belongs also to Toby's guitar play.
Okay, then. So, Steel Hammer, are you going to be recording a new album? Or is it just a one-off album?
At the moment, I'm doing interviews, and then we start with the tour, Gravedigger tour, and let's see what we have in during this time. But I don't think it will be too fast. We started a couple of weeks ago to write some songs, to collect some ideas for a new Steelhammer album. But I got so much work on my table that I don't have a free mind to record anything or something, because I'm doing all the management for Gravedigger. I'm doing all the pre-production for the touring. So that is a lot of work, because next year we have nearly 45 shows. So that is, in the moment, I don't know.
Are you still involved with that other record label? There's a record label you was involved with. Are you still
No, that is
involved?
history since 14 years.
Right.
I was with Metalville, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and I had this Flying Dolphin promotion
That's
company
right, yeah.
from 95 till 2010. And but then I left the company, and I sold it more or less to my partner, Mr. Holger Koch. And nowadays I'm only doing music and recording here in my studio. I'm working also for other bands. So yeah, I'm
Okay
more
then.
than this production guy now.
Okay. So I mean, how do you see each album as a progression?
I think that we moved a step forward and two back. You know, I can't describe it. The original plan to make an old school album, but old school is something like, yeah, it was Rust something, you know. Yeah. When I listen to old school albums from newer bands, they have a bad production. They sound like we sound in the 80s, but that's not my cup of tea to make an old school album, you know.
Yeah.
I want to make an old school album which fits in the present, you know, and not living in the past, because I'm a guy looking in the future and not back.
Okay
So
then.
I made a not a modern production, but a listenable production with good drums and with a original Gravedigger guitar sound. And as I said before, we try to keep some of this older spirit in the songs.
So would you say that you are the godfathers of German power metal?
From the age, perhaps, yes. No, Godfather sounds like you have only 2 years and then you're dead. And there are a lot of more Godfathers than me, like Udo Dirkschneider or Wolf Hoffmann or also Klaus Meine and Rudolf Schenker, you know.
Yeah, but for like the music that you're playing, I mean, it was either you guys or Rage. It was like you guys were like power metal, but I think you guys are like the godfathers in my opinion.
Yeah, we with Rage, Gravedigger, Running Wild, Halloween, Creator, Sodom. I think that all these bands, the older bands from the 80s, they have created a signature sound, you know.
Yeah,
If you listen to Gravedigger, in between 100 records, you know, oh, this is Chris Boltendahl and Gravedigger, you know. If you listen to Rage, yeah, it's Rage.
yeah,
And all we have is this signature sound. And I think that is the reason why we're also in the business after such a long time, you know. Because we created something which on our own, and a lot of people followed this, you know.
yeah, I agree.
A lot of
So,
bands are sounding like Gravedigger or Running Wild or Halloween.
right, okay. So the new album, Bone Collector, this baby.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about the album title. Who came up with the title, Chris?
It was me. And I was looking for a synonym, you know. We have the Reaper album, we have the Return of the Reaper album, and I don't want to call the new album The Reaper is Out of the Coffin or something like that, you know. And then I had the idea when I saw this cover. I created the cover, and then I saw, oh, there are a lot of bones. Hey, bone collector, that sounds very cool, you know. And then I offered it to the other guys, and yeah, great idea, let's go. And that was the reason why we call it Bone Collector.
So, who did the artwork for this album?
Ah, you know, that is AI. The basic is AI.
Yeah.
And Wanderlei Perna, the Brazilian artist, and I, we did a lot of things in Photoshop to create at least the finished cover. But we got a shitstorm about that, you know. When we released the cover, a lot of people said, ah, that is AI, fuck you, yeah, you don't pay the artist, the real artist. Anyway, it's a false discussion. My friend Joey Meyer would say death to false metal, and I say death to false discussions because all the people who are complaining about this cover using AI day by day because there's a lot of AI going around, and I make 600 pictures before I got this one, you know. And on the other side, all these people who are complaining have a Spotify account, you know. And as you know, Spotify is paying nothing
It's
for the art.
disgusting. It's disgusting that Spotify don't pay the artists. Why do you go on Spotify, all these artists?
We have to do it because we sell our rights more or less to the record companies, and they need it as an income, you know. And I'll give you an example. If we got 50% of the income from digital streams, you have, okay, you have the platform, Spotify. They pay to the distributor and reduce 20%. So there are 80%. 80% are going to the distributor. Then the distributor pay the money to the record company. I think perhaps half-half. So 40% coming to the record company. And from this 40%, we are getting 50%. So at the end, we have 20% of the income of Spotify. But anyway, uh, if you have a record label, you get some money for the advance because we are lucky, we get some money for the advance. But smaller bands are, yeah, fucked off, you know. So
Yeah, it's really
if you
bad.
start a band today, you can only get money from live shows and perhaps some merchandise.
Yeah,
But
very true.
if you are on Spotify, you only can use Spotify to spread your name, no? And you see, sometimes it works. Like there is a guy from America called Sawyer Hill. Perhaps, for example, he has a Spotify account and he has 1 million listeners. And when he was here in tour in Germany, there was smaller clubs filled, sold out with 350, 400 people. Good for him. He got some money, but at the end, that is the only income he have, you know. So merchandise and because for 1 million streams on Spotify, you get 3,000 euros if you
Wow.
put it directly from yourself to Spotify, you know.
Okay, then. So you produced this album yourself. How long did it take to record this album? And where did you record
Oh,
it?
that, yeah, it was 9 months more or less, yeah, with the songwriting and with the recordings. And we took our time because everybody has now his own studio. And Markus recorded in his rehearsal room, his drums, and Jens and Toby at home. And I have my studio here. I got all the tracks together and mixed it and mastered it. And if you have a budget, you know, so you rent a studio, then you go like your Anvil brothers, you know, they rent a studio. They have 4 weeks for recordings and mixing, and after 4 weeks, they paid 10,000 euros and have a production, you know. But after that, you can't change anything. And we are able to do it by our own. So we have the possibility to change till the end things and work it out, you know, and that is really comfortable.
Okay, did you mix the album yourselves as well? Did you have
Yes,
some?
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. I did also the Symbol of Eternity. That was my first Gravedigger album I mixed. But I think the progression you can hear now with the new album. So it sounds, for me, it sounds really good.
Okay, then. So the songs, you write all the lyrics for this album as you've done in previous. Do you write any of the music as well?
I wrote all the music together with Toby. the guitar player, and Jens Becker was involved in two songs, "Killing Is My Pleasure" and "Devil's Serenade." And "Devil's Serenade" will be released tomorrow as a video
So what's the
single.
video? What's the video? Can you tell us?
Yeah, it's a funny one, and it's also the Reapers inside. So, but I think after this video we have difficulties to play again in the US. But I don't want to tell you too much about that. You
Oh,
have to
okay.
it tomorrow, and but it's funny. It's ironic and it's funny, and I love it. It's great. I love the song too because the song is something Gravedigger meets stadium rock meets rock and roll, some kind of AC/DC vibes, Guns N' Roses stuff, and Gravedigger. It's a good mixture, I think.
Okay, then. So what's your favorite songs, Chris, from the new album?
My favorite songs are "Devil Serenade" for sure, and I love "The Kingdom of Skulls." "Killing Is My Pleasure." And I think that's a Bone Collector is the signature song of this album. And one of my favorite is the last one, "Whispered of the Damned."
Right then, would you say this is one of the heaviest albums you've done? Because it's the first album you've done without keyboards, I believe.
Yeah, what? Yeah, half an hour back, we had a discussion via our WhatsApp group where I told the guys, hey, because we used some keyboard samples now because we don't have any more keyboarder, and we use some keyboard parts live coming from the MacBook. That is the only thing we use. Also the bagpipes. And I said to the guys, hey, I think we don't need these keyboards anymore. Also for older songs, let's be authentic. Let's play it as a four-piece band. We don't need that, yeah. And I think we are going on this way, and we miss all the keyboards now from the new year and playing heavy metal without all this bling bling. We don't need this epic stuff anymore.
So you're going back to old school without the keyboards.
Yeah, because the essential of Gravedigger is a four-piece band, and we always had some keyboards on the albums, and we started hiring a keyboarder, HP Katzenberg, for Tunes of War until he left the band, and then Marcus, the drum tech, who is now the drummer, made it as a keyboarder. And when Arnold left the band, he joined it as a drummer. And then we stopped with the keyboarder. And then we put it on the MacBook. But anyway, we don't need that. Nobody's interested in a live show to get some Gravedigger keyboards. I think we like to be authentic. So I think we stop with that.
So would you say that the Grim Reaper's actually knocking on people's doors now since he's left the band, looking for victims?
Yeah, he's no, he's going around now. He's always a good friend of mine, and we did some cover band here from Tom Waits a couple of years ago. But I think we don't need any Reaper more on stage. It's children's stuff. So I think we are a rock and roll band. We are a heavy metal band. We don't need that anymore. So we go straight. We have good songs, and we have a lot of good songs, which are fill a complete 2 hours live set. So we don't need keyboards. We don't need the Reaper anymore. So it's
Would you
it's very simple.
would you say that this is the most brutal, savage album you've done in a while? With you not having the keyboards, would you say it's the
What do
heaviest
you
album?
think?
I think it's a really heavy album.
Yeah, I think so too. So I
It's
think,
typical Gravedigger. No disrespect, but you've got your like you said, you've got your own signature sound. You don't need to sound like anyone else. People accept you for who you are.
yeah, for sure. And I think it's in the same line like Heart of Darkness or the Reaper album, and perhaps also the Return of the Reaper, Heavy Metal Breakdown. This is some kind of albums. And I also think that we stop with these concept CDs and that we're going this way, this old school way. I think it's fun, you know. As you older you are, you don't need all this ballast of making a concept, making keyboards, making symphonic arrangements. Yeah, we never reproduce that on stage. So in the morning, I read an article from a guy here from an online magazine, and he was on a festival last weekend, and he saw Axis playing, And he said, "Oh, that is a really authentic band with a keyboarder and also with a guitar player and all these things." And then there was the next band was Dynasty, and they sound much bigger. And yes, but I know that there are a lot of things coming from the MacBook. Yes, fucker, that is not music anywhere anymore, you know.
Yeah.
And if you have background vocals, keyboard symphonic arrangements, double guitar solos, all coming from the MacBook, what had that to do with music, with live music? Nothing. Then I can go home watching a video.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, are you going to be doing any more promotional videos for this album? Obviously, there's going to be some more videos.
No, we have this one coming out tomorrow, and then we have another lyric video on the day of the release. And we had this Kingdom of Skulls video. And I think two videos are enough. I don't know how interested are people anymore in video. I think so. If it's so high, the interest like 10 years ago, you know.
Right. Have you had any
Expensive.
reviews yet, Chris, for this album, or are people holding back till the new year?
Yeah, the people are really excited. And we got reviews and interviews with people I missed 15 years ago, yeah, the last time. And I think that people love this kind of comeback again, you know. I think you can feel the energy, the joy, and the power we put in this record. So I think we have another decade to play heavy metal.
So you're going to be touring in January. So who's going to be supporting you on this tour?
Victory,
Oh
another
yeah,
legendary band. So
yeah. I know those guys. Is it just you and
I
Victory?
love them. They're really rock and roll. So I like Hammond Frank. He's a great guy, great guitar player. And they're in the first block there is Rigorous, a German band, and the second one is Warwolf, a band I produce. Both bands I produce in my studio, so I put them on stage for a couple of shows with us together. Yeah, and then from April we start with the festival season, and end of the year we're going to South America again. So everything is working really well. And then I think we start with a new Gravedigger album, as usual, going on tour in 2027 again. So
Wow.
lots to do.
Are you doing any shows in the UK? Because you don't seem to play the UK. Last
I
time I
don't,
saw
I
you
don't
was
think.
Bloodstock.
Yeah, I know. I think we were on Bloodstock in 2014 or 15. I don't
Yeah, I was
know.
there. We met backstage.
Yeah, yeah, yes, I remember. Yeah, but there are no offers in the moment, and to make a UK tour, I think it makes no sense in the moment with the Brexit. We had
Yeah.
to pay visa stuff like in the US, so it's expensive to play there.
Yeah. Do you miss not playing England?
Pardon?
Do you miss not playing the UK?
I love the UK. I love to be in London. When we was the last time in 2019 before the Brexit was coming with Burning Witches was a great show there. But anyway, let's see what the future will bring. If people discovered Gravedigger for the second, third time again with a new album, that would be great.
Right, brilliant. Chris, I'd like to thank you for doing this interview. I wish you all the best and have a nice Christmas.
You too, my friend.
Do you have anything to say to the fans watching this on YouTube?
Yeah, believe in yourself, enjoy Gravedigger, and don't trust the bone collector. Bye,
Cheers,
Jim.
Chris. Take care. All the
Bye-bye.
best.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.